Hello guys, welcome to registration and login tutorial series. This is the fourth part, and in this part we are going to implement a front-end part for a registration feature. Okay, in previous video we have implemented a back-end part for a registration feature. So basically we have implemented a repository, service and controller layer. Now in this video we are going to create a Thymeleaf template to implement a registration form. Okay, let's get started. So in previous video we have created user repository. Okay, and we have also created a user service interface, user service IMPL class which implements user service interface, and we have also created user registration DTO class, and we have also created user registration controller, and we have defined a register user account method handler to handle a registration post HTTP request. Alright, so this backend we have completed in previous video for a registration feature, and in this video we are going to focus on developing a front-end part for registration feature. So we are going to use Thymeleaf. So first we are going to create a Thymeleaf template engine. So look at here, this is the resource folder. Under that, this is the templates folder. Inside templates folder we need to create Thymeleaf templates. Okay, so remember, whenever Spring Boot finds Spring Boot Thymeleaf starter dependency and a class path, then Spring Boot will automatically configure a view resolver for Thymeleaf template engine, so we no need to manually add view resolver configuration. Okay, great. Now let's right click on a templates folder, new, and then choose HTML file. Okay, and let's give a name to this file as registration.html. okay, now we have a registration Thymeleaf template. So basically to handle this view, we need to create a handler method in controller. Okay, so basically whenever we hit a URL like localhost :8080 / registration, then we need to have a method handler which will return a registration.html page. Okay, for that let's go ahead and let's create a method handler over here. Let's say public string, and let's call method as show registration form, and this method returns the view. So view name is registration.html, so let's say registration. Okay, we can skip .html extension because this will be automatically handled by Spring MUC. Now let's annotate this method with @get mapping annotation. So this is going to be a HTTP get method, right? Okay, great. So look at here, this is the HTTP post request. Oops, we forgotten to add a post mapping annotation to this method, so let's go ahead and let's add @post mapping annotation, because this method handler will handle post HTTP request and this method handler will handle HTTP get request. Now let's go ahead and let's design our registration page. Okay, so first of all we are going to use a Bootstrap CSS framework to make our web pages responsive, and we again use Bootstrap CSS to style our web pages. For that we are going to just add a Bootstrap CSS library to our HTML page. We are going to add CDN links. Just Google search Bootstrap 3.3.7 CDN. Okay, so I am going to use Bootstrap 3 because I am most familiar with Bootstrap 3, and yeah, so you are free to use Bootstrap 4 as well. just click on Bootstrap 3.3.7 release, and here you can find a CDN links. Okay, Bootstrap CDN links, and here I'm just going to copy this and go to the again our ID, and in a header section just paste. Okay, great. Let's change title over here. Let's replace this with a registration. Okay, so here first what we'll do, we'll create a navigation bar. Okay, this is basically header, navigation header, and after that we are going to create a form, create HTML form. So basically this is the registration form. Okay, great. So let me add a code snippet. So we are going to use Bootstrap, so it's pretty simple to use Bootstrap provided navigation bar or a header. So let me quickly add a snippet here. Alright, so look at here, this is the navigation pix top bar. So this is basically a pix header, and these are the Bootstrap CSS classes, and this is the container, and this is the navigation bar header, and this is the button for, and here we have a registration and login module text. So this is basically, this will navigate to the home page. It's pretty simple, navigation bar. This is the code snippet. It is available on a Bootstrap official website as well. We can just search and we can just copy and paste it over here. Okay, so this is the pix navigation top bar. Now let's go ahead and let's design a registration form. Okay, so now we design the registration form step by step. So first let's add a div container over here, div class container. So container is a CSS class provided by Bootstrap. Okay, and here we add one more div and class. So we basically add a row. Row is again a CSS class provided by Bootstrap, and again we create one more div and again add a Bootstrap CSS classes. Like we need to render a form in the middle, so let's add a Bootstrap grid CSS classes. Okay, so this is a column 6. So please go through the Bootstrap CSS grid system, how it works. And basically a grid system is divided into 12 columns, and we are going to align our registration form in a center. So for that we have added offset here. Okay, now once a user registers successfully, then we need to show the success message, right? For that, here we are going to add a snippet. This will show a success message. So here I am going to just write the comment so that it will be easy for you to understand. So look at here, I am just going to add a message like you have successfully registered to our awesome app. Okay, and this is the Thymeleaf attribute. This is the if condition. If the attribute is success, then we show this message. Okay, so let me show you where this comes from. So this comes from here, from the controller. So look at here, once a user successfully registered, then we just redirect to the registration page with success. So this is the flag. All right, this is the flag indicates that a user is successfully registered, and this flag we are just retrieving here success param dot success, and if this is true then we just show this text. Okay, understood? Great. Now let's create a form. Let's add a h1 tag first, and let us say registration. Now let's go ahead and let's create a form, and let's make this action as Thymeleaf attribute. So this is the action. Basically we add here a URL /registration. So add means that add here is that it is a context path of our application, and this is the URL. So once user submits a registration form, then this request will goes to the controller over here, and this is the post request, so this will call this method handler. Okay, and here again we provide a method is post. Alright, so again look at here, this is the important part, th::object. So this is the Thymeleaf attribute, and here we need to provide a object, and this object basically Thymeleaf will get this object from the controller. Okay, so we basically create one more method here which returns a empty user object. Okay, so we need to create a default user registration DTO constructor here. So notice here, this is the important step. We are using @model attribute annotation to annotate this method. Okay, and this method returns a new object of user registration DTO. Alright, and this is the user. So we are using this user object in a form. So look at here. So whenever user enter a form data, that data will be stored in a user. So it is indirectly stores in user registration DTO object. Alright, so remember, Thymeleaf basically gets a user object from here. Okay, so this is a very important step. Just try to understand. So whenever Thymeleaf wants to store a form data, then this object will be available from the controller from here. So instead of this, you can also pass the empty object here. So you can just create a model, okay, like this, and simply you can pass model dot attribute, and here we can pass user, and here you can pass object of the user registration DTO class. This also works. Okay, so to keep it simple, I am going to use this approach. So let me remove this. Okay, great. Now let's again go back to our HTML page. Now here we will create input fields. Let's create a div class, and let's add a bootstrap class form groove. Okay, and here we create a label, and to the label let's add classes. Control label, and here we have for attribute, and let's say first name, and label is first name, right? And inside a label, outside a label, we just create an input field, and I add a ID here. so id is first name, and let's also add a class. This is the css class, bootstrap css class, form control, and then we add a Thymeleaf attribute to bind a field to the user object. So this is very important. This is the first name, so first name it basically refer to the field that we have defined in a user DTO. So here, okay, so the field name and this field name should equal, okay. And here what we'll do, we'll add a validation required and autofocus, okay, great. And let's add a self-closing tag. So this is our input field for first name. Let's similarly add to the last name, email and password. Let me copy this snippet and let's change accordingly. Last name, this is the last name. As I already mentioned, this should be equal to this, right? Now where it is, so just copy this last name, go to the HTML page and here paste it here. Okay, now again just copy this, let me format, let me copy this, and we're going to add email, right? Email field, so let's change accordingly. This is email and id email, this is also email. Alright, let's copy again and let's add a password field, password, and for password we don't want to show the password, so for that we are going to use type here, type equal to password. Alright, and let's change this. Okay, great. Now we have first name, last name, email and password field. Now let's go ahead and let's add a register button. Okay, so look at here, we have added a register button, and after that we have added a login here, a hyperlink. So whenever we click on this link, this will navigate to the login page. So this we will implement in further videos. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and let's format this form, and yeah, we have done pretty much. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's run the Spring Boot project and let us see how it looks. Right click on our main interpreter class and then run as Spring Boot app. Alright, our application is up and running on default embedded Tomcat server on port 8080. Now let's go to the browser and let's access this application. So in a new tab, just type localhost 8080. Okay, and we need to give a URL like registration. So this is the URL to get a registration form. Okay, so look at here how it looks like. It looks good, right? So again we need to slightly modify our HTML page. Go to the HTML page again, and here we need to add a break tag. save it. Let's go back to the browser, refresh. Here we go. Now it looks good, right? And look at here, this looks responsive. We have added bootstrap CSS classes to make our web page responsive. So look at here how it looks like. It looks good in mobile devices as well as laptop, desktop. Alright, it will support basically in all the devices. Okay, great. Now what we'll do, we'll fill up the details and we'll register a user to see whether this functionality properly works or not. For that, let's go and let's add a new user. Let's say Ramesh, first name, last name, further email address ramesh@gmail.com, password, give any password like password 123, something like this, and hit register button. So look at here, you have successfully registered to our awesome app. So let's verify the data in a database. So go to the MySQL workbench, refresh database, and let's select records from the user table. So look at here, Ramesh user is successfully registered. Let's also verify the roles. Yeah, look at here, role user. So we have provided a default role to the user, and let's also see the mapping. Yeah, here we go. So it means that a user is successfully registered to our application, and data is also successfully stored in a database table. It means that now let us see the validations. If we don't give a first name here, so look at here the validation, please fill out this field. And if I give first name, and if I again hit a register button, this gives fill out this field. So we have used a default HTML provided validations. We haven't implemented server-side validations. Alright, so I'm not going to cover server-side validation. You can just take it as exercise, and you can implement server-side validation for this form. Okay, if you stuck anywhere, then you can refer my website tutorials where I have shown you how to implement server-side validation for forms in Spring MVC web applications. I will provide a link in the video description. Just have a look into it. Alright, so this completes our registration feature. In next video I am going to cover Spring security configuration, and in further videos we will see how to implement a login feature step by step. Alright, thanks guys, I will see you in the next video.